Good morning, students. Today we are going to start Civics Chapter 1. The title of the chapter is The Role of the Constitution. In this chapter, we have study in detail about these three topics: the Constitution of India, the independence of laws, and dissent. But before this, we have to study about what is constitution. So constitution is a set of fundamental laws or governing principles. Here we are going to define laws. Means, what is law? Law can be defined as a system of rules and guidelines which are enforced through political and social institutions to deal with maintain maintain order, and regulate social behavior. Thereafter, here the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India was enacted on 26 November 1949 and it came into effect on 26 January 1950. The Constitution of India is the largest written constitution in the world, and the preamble to our constitution clearly says that the Union of India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. And the laws of governance that it entails that it that the Constitution of India describes are rooted in the basic principles of equality, liberty, and justice. With the means of different measures and guidelines, the Constitution of India aims to promote the country's unity and integrity among a huge diversity. Among a huge diversity. Thereafter, the Constitution, governance, and lawmaking. The Constitution of the country provides the fundamental legal framework. It means that the government of the country works legally, and the Constitution of a country provides the government the legal framework. On that framework, the government of a country should work in the favor of the countrymen. Some of its features which reflect its significance. There are some features of our constitution which reflects the significance as the supreme source of legislation are as follows. It provides the basic guidelines for governance based on the principle of popular democracy. It means that the Constitution of India provides a detailed the fundamental guidelines to the government, which is based on the principle of popular democracy. Second one is that the nature of the country's political system is defined by the constitution. It means that the the nature of the political system in our country is defined in our constitution. Our political body works according to the constitution. The authorized It authorizes a country's government to exercise certain powers while checking their use in an arbitrary way. The constitution of our country provides the government some certain powers which with which it use in an arbitrary way. It outlines the process of making law, legislation, or laws for the country. Our constitution provided the power to the government to make law for to make new legislation or laws for the country, and the duties and right of the people of the country are laid down in the constitution, which is in the form of fundamental duties and fundamental rights. Thereafter, the constitution and the legitimacy of law. A constitution is not just a set of law, but it also enshrines the guiding principles for framing new laws. It means that whatever the constitution we had, that is not only a set of laws, but it is also enshrines the guiding principles for framing the new laws. The lawmakers of the country depend on the constitution to justify the content and the process of making them. Since the interests and rights of the people are pivotal to the constitution of a democratic country such as India, lawmakers cannot overlook them while making a new law. If any law passed by the legislature is against the spirit of the constitution, the right to review a law passed by the legislature rests with the Supreme Court of India. This is called judicial review. Our constitution is works like a guard against the misuse of power by the state, the government, and the people's right. These rights, known as the fundamental rights, which are included in Part 3rd of Indian Constitution. These rights are so called because the legislature and the executive cannot override them. Fundamental rights cannot be cannot override by the legislature and the executive. Also, the state cannot take away these rights from an individual. A citizen can move to court of law if he or she is denied these rights. Anyone. These rights protect citizens from exploitation by an individual or the state. If anyone exploits any citizen of the country, then he has the right to protect his fundamental rights through the court. That exploitation either by an individual or by the state. The Constitution also aims to safeguard the rights of the minority communities. Our Constitution also provides us some rights to provide the rights of the minority communities. However, the rights are the rights are not absolute, and the constitution imposes certain limits on the enjoyment of these rights in the interest of the society, as in the event of a national emergency when some fundamental rights are suspended. Thereafter, dissent. We often hear about people taking out positions, processions, or rallies. Generally, we have to see about the procession or rallies, or sitting on post against some laws which they think might violate their freedom. Such an expression of disagreement or opposition is termed as dissent. In, in Hindi, it is known as in Hindi it is known as in Hindi it is known as asantosh. Asantosh. Dissent has an important role. Dissent has an important role in democracy, and it expresses people's freedom to oppose a law being imposed on them without their consent. A brief discussion on the Salt Satyagraha, which was led by Mahatma Gandhi during the colonial period, and the anti liquor campaign launched in 1991 in Andhra Pradesh, will give you a better understanding of what makes dissent so important. Dissent is a very crucial role with which, as an example, the Salt Satyagraha, which was led by Mahatma Gandhi, and the anti-liquor campaign, which was launched in 1991 in Andhra Pradesh. These are the better example of these. Thereafter, the Salt Satyagraha, we have read about salt law, which was imposed by British government in 1882. The salt law we have to study in further chapters, that it was imposed by the British government in 1882. Throughout this act, the collection or production of salt by anyone without the permission of the colonial authorities was declared unlawful. According to the Salt Act, the collection or production of salt by anyone, it without the permission of the British government, was declared illegal. Besides, a tax was also imposed on salt which affected the common people. Mahatma Gandhi started a civil disobedience movement in 1929 to 30 by launching a symbolic campaign against the salt law on 12th March 1930. He marched with his 78 followers from Sabarmati Ashram to the coastal village of Dandi in Gujarat. After reaching Dandi on 6th April 1930, he picked up a handful of salt, thus broke the salt law. Thus broke the salt law. Beta, just today is finished. Tomorrow we will discuss about the rest of the part of this, the salt satyagraha. Okay, thank you.